All right, everybody, welcome back to Bees No Ball. Good morning, and thank you for waking up with us. So we got week 6 edition of the Sunday Chat. Got a lot of football to really start getting into yet again. So Christian, let's get some news started here.
Yeah, so let's kick it off with some trade rumors. The first trade rumor with the Minnesota Vikings, Danielle Hunter, who is one of the best players on that defensive side. They are willing to openly to trade him. So honestly, I'm not a big fan of that. He is a big part of that defensive lineman, but Danielle Hunter, they could possibly get some pretty decent amount for him. I would say maybe a third rounder for him. And then moving on again with the same team, the Minnesota Vikings, the Kirk Cousins. So they're not willing to trade Kirk Cousins for the deadline. They're gonna stick with him for possibly the remaining of the season. Obviously, we saw the setbacks and the flaws of the Vikings right now, and expected a lot of them from them. But Kirk will be remaining as the starting QB. And then moving on to the AFC side of the Raiders, Hunter Renfrow. They're also willing to trade Hunter Renfrow as well. We saw Renfrow. He hasn't played for the first couple games of the season with an injury. I think he has been back, but the Raiders still open to trade him. He's a pretty decent slot receiver. And then moving on back to the AFC with the Carolina Panthers. 3 players they're willing to trade: Dante Jackson, Jeremy Chin, and Terrence Williams. So they're open to trade those 3 players before the deadline. And then obviously with the Carolina Panthers at this point, they'll be willing to trade anyone with what's going on with the season. Have yet to still see a win at all this season. So they need all the help they need all the help that they can need. And obviously starting off with those 3 players, it can be a big impact.
Yeah. So moving on to some other type of roster news with the Patriots, and obviously we've seen it's been a whole type of turmoil with them. Reports are Mac Jones will be on thin ice this week. It won't take much for him to get benched. We've already seen how in the last 2 blowouts, he ended up getting benched. Belichick did say, it's just why leave him in a blowout, but it's kind of leaning towards that direction. So the Patriots will be willing to put in Will Grier or Malik Cunningham, the rookie, which they have been game planning around the idea that he is expected to see the field at some point this week. So it's kind of looking like that point. I mean, everyone's been expecting it. Now it's finally been coming to fruition that it does look like Mac Jones's time, like the leeway, all the time that they've been waiting on him, that could be coming to an end if he doesn't change it right here.
Yeah, and now moving back with some, with his own take with the injuries, Anthony Richardson. We saw how last game they get out with a shoulder injury, and now from the looks of it, he is looking to most likely miss the whole season with the shoulder injury if it does require surgery. Obviously, this is a big blow for the Colts. Obviously, for him being a rookie, him playing very well, it looked like could be the franchise quarterback of the Colts moving forward. But there's obviously going to be a huge blow for the Colts. And now moving to another injury-related news, Justin Jefferson has also been reported that he will most likely miss 4 to 6 weeks due to his injury that he did suffer last game. So obviously there's another huge blow for the Minnesota Vikings, especially since this is Kirk's number 1 threat. But obviously this is another good sign for rookie Jordan Addison, who will most likely be getting the 1 spot for the time that Jefferson will be missing.
Yeah. Similar to what people saw with Cut missing and Puka Nacua getting a breakout. So love to see what happens there. But keeping it injury related to close this out, kind of see if we keep this just a little weekly ins and outs. So just get an easier way to get your injury news out. So to start, for Austin Ekeler, obviously he's been out ever since week 2. An injury he picked up there. He will finally be making his return after that ankle injury. It's a long way to return. He is very much needed. Obviously, he will be playing tomorrow night against your Cowboys. See what kind of production he can see if he's a little too rusty, but we'll see with that. For Sauce Gardner, obviously we saw he picked up an injury in the game last week. He will be out with a concussion. It's going to be a big blow for the Jets, as obviously trying to contain guys like AJ Brown and Devonta Smith. It's going to be a big blow for their corners, and they're going to need someone to step up. Deshaun Watson, we saw he picked up that shoulder injury last week. He will be out. He could miss extended time. Now it's seeming to be some rotator cuff injury. So they are, I haven't seen nothing, but IR is definitely not out of the question. So we'll see what they end up doing there. And finally, we saw the big hit that Daniel Jones took last week against the Dolphins. He did suffer a neck injury, and he will be out this week. Tyrod Taylor will be getting the start, so another big blow for an already struggling Giants team, and obviously facing one of the best teams in the AFC in the Bills. So it seems to just really keep the struggles going for them. Of course, that wraps that up. See how we go with that. Christian, let's move that right into fantasy.
Yeah, so obviously our fantasy lineups will be on the screen right here. So obviously starting off with mine. Obviously up to another pretty bad start. Honestly, that was a pretty easy, winnable matchup last game for me if I just started George Pickens, but can't win them all. So obviously this is my lineup. A couple tweaks here and there. Had to switch up my defense a bit just for this week. And obviously with my Cowboys going up against a Chargers team that's here and there. I'm really gonna need to expect a big game from CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott. I mean, we saw last week they really couldn't get anything done against those 49ers. They were just getting us they were just handling us really well on both sides of the ball. It was just not looking well. So I'm gonna need those two to step up. Then obviously, with my running back room, that's the major problems I've been having this season. I had to tweak up my running backs up just a bit, not too major, but I expect hopefully my running backs they can get some production going, especially since Gus Edwards. Not Gus Edwards. Justice Hill. He is playing right now in the London game, so hopefully he can get a couple there for me, and then obviously Joe Mixon, who start off very very rusty, but starting to work his way back up. So the running backs, I'm really hoping my running backs can actually get some production for the games to come.
Yeah, so moving to my team. I mean, if you think your team's been disappointing, Christian, you ain't seen nothing yet. Starting 1-4, it's been tough, but I mean, last week I gave our boy Picasso his first win of the season. Can't really seem to get nothing going, but as you can see on screen, my team looks a little different. I did make a move this week. I picked up two guys that I really expect to be really key here, so I'm just gonna really highlight them. Raheem Mostert to start. He has been just phenomenal for the Dolphins. Obviously he's picking him up last year. It was tough to see what he was gonna do, but to start this week, I believe he's had he had like a 40-point game not too long ago. So against a Cardinals defense who not expecting anything special from them, I do expect him to give me really good points to debut on this roster. And DeAndre Hopkins, who he's been kind of slow to start the season, but he did have a breakout game to start last week against the Colts. So if he keeps that production, he's playing right now in London, so haven't even been keeping up with that, but we'll see how much production he's been giving. But do expect him to do pretty good against a lackluster defense from the Ravens. And also got to mention Travis Kelce, phenomenal game on Thursday night. Really helped me there with 21 points. But obviously I rotate my defenses, and right here picked up the Vikings. Are they really all that good, and do I trust them? No, but they're playing the Bears, so I don't see the Bears having back-to-back good games, so I'll take my chances with the Vikings this week. But right now let's just move it right into cash or trash. Last week we hit it back to tight ends, and it was we hit it back to quarterbacks. My bad. It was what can you say? Christian, you swept it yet again. You got a great. You took off in a great game against the Cardinals. Obviously gonna give that to you there. Expected Tua to really have a great game, and against a really shitty Giants team, and he struggled, so that's gonna be tough. You had yourself a gimme with picking Daniel Jones, and obviously he did struggle just a little more than Tannehill in my pick. So moving it right into running backs, I'll just get us started right here with. I'm gonna go with my guy that I just picked up. I'm going with Raheem Mostert. I already kind of talked about it. Not gonna reiterate everything I said, but I expect him to work really well behind that O-line. That the Dolphins have really solidified a really good run game, especially with Devon Achane out for at least 4 weeks. He will probably be back by the time he's done with the IR, but I expect right now he is back into the RB1 role, so take the numbers he can give while I can. So I expect a great game for him this week. As for Trash, another guy on my fantasy, a guy I've kind of been keeping in the bench for a little while, Ramondre Stevenson. He was someone I was honestly pretty high on coming into this season, especially when I made that trade for him earlier in the year. But he's been really disappointing, and going against, I wouldn't say all that great, but a pretty good Raiders defense. I see Max Crosby really disrupting the run game, so I expect Ramondre to have a pretty slow game. Not much going for the Patriots in general, as we've been kind of saying recently. So really expecting Ramondre to struggle.
Yeah, and then moving on to my picks, it was a kind of, for my cash pick, it was kind of a struggle for me to kind of pick, but I'm gonna go with Swift. So, I was having a little process between him, Robinson, or I think it was Montgomery. So, but I had to go over Swift with the, just looking at him with Swift, the production he's been doing with the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, behind that monster O-line and the yardage he's been racking up with this team, he's been having a season from. I mean, he's been racking up touchdowns every game, pretty much a good 100 yarders, for the most part. And really gonna go with him, and they are have pretty close, tight game with them. So I should expect Swift to pick up some decent yardage for me. Hopefully get this for me, since he has been doing well this season as well. And then for my trash pick, I had to go for the obvious pick, Matt Breida of the New York Giants. Obviously, since he is the number one running back for now, as Saquon Barkley is out with an injury. And as we've seen with the Giants this season, lots of lackluster players, the team, and just the coaching all around. It just has not been good for them, as they were overhyped this offseason every single day. But especially with then in the run game, it's just not looking well at all. It wasn't looking good at all with Saquon there, especially with that horrendous O-line that they have. So let alone with Matt Breida at the lineup, I don't expect him to put up too much points for the Giants.
Yeah. Depends if Saquon comes back. We'll see. See if that turns into just another little gimme for you picking the Giants. But yeah, obviously, great picks overall. Hopefully they don't come back to bite us like they kind of have in the past. But that's gonna wrap it up for Cash or Trash and the video overall. So, of course, barring any news, we will see you guys for the weekly recap. Always appreciate the support. If anyone really does wake up to watch these right when they come out, it's greatly appreciated always for any of the support, and we'll see you guys in the next video.